survive on the frontier, you need many key essential things, one of which is water. Now this is a canteen I bring along with me for most of my campouts and treks and stuff like that. But after a hard day of building a cabin or trekking through the woods, this is gonna run out pretty quick. So how do you keep and store more water? Well, this is a gourd, and I'm gonna show you how to make a canteen out of it. If you don't know what a gourd is, it's in the squash family, and it's a plant that was very commonly grown in the 18th century by both pioneers and Indians, because if you let it dry, it hardens out, and as you can hear, it's hollow except for some of the seeds inside. So to turn this into a canteen, we're first going to start out by cutting off the top of the gourd. So here is canteen out of a gourd I've made before, and on this one I cut it off at the very base of the neck right there. But I think for this one I want to have a bit of a neck to drink from, so I think I'm gonna cut it out right along there. Alright, so now I cut the top of the gourd off, and you can see it's not super even, but you can sand it down with a rock or something if you need. And inside it's hollow except for a bunch of seeds and the stuff that holds the seeds. So you can shake as much of those as you want out and keep the seeds so you can plant them. But to really get it all out, you can dig some out with your fingers or get a stick or something. But I'm gonna get a handful of gravel and sand, put it in there, and then shake it up and it'll get all those seeds out. A handful of sand and gravel just from the creek. Put it in there. And then just dump it out. You really want to make sure you get all the sand out, or else you're going to be drinking it. And what that does is just sands it out, makes it smooth, and it's really nice. And now it's completely hollowed out. Now that the gourd is completely hollowed out, we need to seal it because it has a lot of small pores on like the wood part of the inside. And so to seal it, we're gonna use beeswax. So I have some beeswax here. Now I'm gonna get my gourd slowly heating up. You don't want to get too hot because that's not good and it'll burn. But you want it to slowly heat up by the fire. And then I'm gonna get some beeswax and I'm gonna melt it in this can and pour it in there, shake it up, and then the gourd canteen will be sealed. As you heat the gourd, be sure to rotate it every once in a while so that it heats up evenly. And in the meantime, I'm gonna melt some beeswax. So if you don't know where to get beeswax, you can buy it in like bricks of beeswax, or what I'm doing is just using lantern and candle drippings. I just have them in a small little tin here, and I'm going to set them by the fire to melt. And every once in a while, just rotate the gourd and stir up the wax a little bit. I ended up hanging the gourd by the chain so it can get heated from the bottom especially, and the wax is almost melted, so I'm going to take the gourd down and dump the wax in, shake it up, and it'll be all sealed. Here we go. Alright, it's nice and warm, so I'm going to see if I can do this without burning myself. Smells really good. Smells like beeswax. Feels like I didn't quite get enough in there to cover the whole thing. I'm feeling some gourd that doesn't have beeswax. So I think now that it's already kind of warm, the wax is kind of warm, I'm gonna put more wax in the gourd and then just hang it and melt it all together. So cutting out some beeswax. You can use bear grease too. If you want to see how to make the bear grease stuff I have, comment and I can make a video on that too. Alright, to hang it, find a clean stick. Now I'm going to get the chain, put the stick through here, and put it like that so it doesn't come undone. If I can do it right. Well, all the wax is melted, so this gourd is completely sealed. I think every surface is covered. Feels like there's wax everywhere, so it now can hold water. So I'm going to test it out some. I'll let it sit there for a second, but it's not leaking or leaking through anywhere or dripping through anywhere or anything. So I think it works pretty well. That works pretty good. Now, to make a lid for it, what you're gonna do is cut off a small piece of wood and carve it down so it fits well inside, and then wrap it with some leather, and then you can tie it on with string or glue it with beeswax or whatever, so that when you put the cork in there, the water will make the leather expand just ever so slightly to make it a watertight seal. And so that's what I'm gonna do to make the lid for this one. And then dump out the water so I don't spill it on myself for the next step. Now I can get some twine. Say about that much. And I can tie a little neck for it. And now I can cut off this excess. And if I borrow the cork from this one for now, I have a Gourd canteen. It's pretty nice, and now I can carry water with me wherever. Didn't take too long to make, pretty easy. You can make the twine from stuff you find in the woods, and gourds grow wild in some places of America, and we grew these ourselves, so they're really easy to grow. And so you can make this completely with whatever you can find. And if you want to, instead of just having like the strap tied to the neck like this, you can make netting to go around it. This is just with more twine like I did for this one. And that's pretty cool looking and more secure, but overall, yeah, that works pretty well. So it's completely filled with all the wax and got the strap tied on it so it's not coming off, so you can carry it around with you. And then the cork, a piece of wood with some leather wrapped around it, and you can just tie it on with some string or sinew. It's glued with some beeswax too, and so it fits this other one pretty snug. And then when the water gets on the leather from being in the canteen, the leather will ever so slightly expand and absorb the water so that it's a watertight seal. So I can use this one with this one, or make a larger one that sits up above the neck for it, but it's a pretty good canteen. It'll work. Tastes like water, works pretty good, and as a benefit, it smells like beeswax. So looks like it got a little too hot on the bottom when I was heating it up, but it's still fine. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the trail.